everything.
But here's the thing about that, right? Instead of him doing what he did, if you did feel like that, why not just remove yourself? Right? Instead of doing what you did, if you felt like they were moving Oppie, why wouldn't you just sit there and say, you know what, I'm not messing with them no more. I'm going elsewhere, like you basically did. And maybe while this video play in the background at the same time. Only difference is the increase in your bank account. Now, I'm not saying you'll get rich, but I am saying that you could easily make something while doing nothing except for sitting on the couch playing games if you download the app Free Cash. Tap or click the link I pinned in the comment section or scan the QR code that I put right here on the screen. Also, if you use my link right now, they give you a little sum to start off with just for signing up. So if you want a little Uber Eats or something to snack on and don't feel like dipping into your own wallet, play a few games so you don't have to spend your own ends. Now let's get back to the video.
People saw you in the background of both Young Dolph and Key Glock videos, they music videos. Earlier, you were pretty much saying it'd be the ones that's close to you, it'd be your own people. So some people is saying, what about you? They feel like you biting the hand that's feeding you.
Say hello to Xero, the easiest way to pay bills and stay in control. Save an average of 5 hours a week on admin. It's powerful enough for your accountant, simple enough for you. Try Xero today.
Oh, hey, Charles.
Yeah.
What are you wearing?
Coach, Soho sneakers.
Where are you headed? Can we come with?
I'm actually running a little late.
Is it shoes first or is it the finishing touch?
Finishing touch.
Whoa, you got a lot of sneakers there.
I like what I like, Soho sneakers.
Our neighbors are coming over.
You're in for a treat. There's something I've been wanting to talk about.
We also have something to talk to you about.
So, can anyone do anything to anyone?
That's not Nature's Own.
We always get this.
Nature's Own now has simpler ingredients with the same great taste. Educate yourself.
Mike worked in a factory. I worked at Burger King. Both of our parents were teachers. It's the middle class. It's who we are. Mike is a family man, a leader. Mike has a
I'm gonna tell you, only time you bite in the hand is feeding you when you just do it out of spite.
Yeah.
That's biting the hand and feeding you. Knowing that this hand feeding you, you still do something snake or slimy or grimy, it's different. See, they don't know that me and Brad had word, and he came to me with a certain fever. So you check their temperature.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like I used to be thugging around them. P.I.E. supposed to be in the movement. But when I declined, I turned it to an op.
Yeah.
When I declined the offer, I was an op now. I come around, niggas get quiet, niggas acting funny. Oh, they were going on. I'm a street nigga, I peep everything.
But here's the thing about that, right? Instead of him doing what he did, if you did feel like that, why not just remove yourself? Right? Instead of doing what you did, if you felt like they were moving Oppie, why wouldn't you just sit there and say, you know what, I'm not messing with them no more. I'm going elsewhere, like you basically did. And maybe that's why they was treating you like that. You know, you got some cases to where you may be friends with this person and they may be a part of a clique, right? But there's certain people a part of that clique may not mess with you, but the fact that their friend mess with you, they tolerate you. So that's what it seemed like it was going on. It seemed like maybe Dolph or whoever didn't really mess with him, but other people did, so they just tolerated him. However, maybe they got wind that he was messing with CMG, and that's why they started giving him the cold shoulder.
Ain't too much getting past me because of my lifestyle and where I come from and how I came up. So, you know, I take all that into consideration and make and try to make the best decision and judgment of the situation.
And the best decision and judgment was to unalive Dolph.
Like, nigga, what?
His reasons still just don't make sense.
And you gotta think the leader's gonna be the one that call the shots.
For sure. I heard that. So Drop, man, is the $1 million question. A lot of people asking why. Like, you know what I'm saying? They asking why you take their favorite artist who was giving back to the city. You know what I'm saying? They saying he could have put you on. They saying, you know, why?
I really ain't got no comment for that.
Exactly.
I heard that. I
Nigga
understand.
can't say nothing.
That's crazy. Now you see, when you really think about it, right? You took a father, you took a brother, you took an uncle, you took somebody's significant other, you took somebody that was giving back to the community. And then when somebody asks you why, you say, I really don't have no comment for that. Right? So all that tells me is you really did it for nothing. According to Cornelius, y'all did it for a payout. And then come to find out, y'all didn't even really get anything for doing what y'all did. So now you didn't get paid. You took somebody that was contributing to the culture, and then now you also got a whole bunch of jail time. For what? He don't got no comment for it.
So if you was sitting right next to Young Dolph right now to this day, what could you say to him?
Crazy question.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Because I ain't want to take what you offer. That you choose to slander me, slander my name.
But
amongst the PRE.
How could you say he slandered your name?
Nobody knew his name until he unalived Dolph. So how did he slander his name? I can't recall not one song or interview where we heard Dolph talking about Straight Drop or anything concerning Straight Drop. So he tried to throw, with PRE. What does that got to do with the T in China? Right? So he's basically saying that he started acting salty or doing whatever after he turned down the deal. But what was he doing exactly? He still don't got no
No, you know, things get back to you.
Yeah.
You know, one person tells somebody else that tells the next person to get back. Like, hold on. Don't know what they know about the situation if they was there. So how you know? Also, you done been around this person and told you they exposed some information or something. It just got to the wrong ear and it got back to me.
Yeah. You being loyal to people who not loyal to you. And me, obviously, I understand the street code. You being loyal to people who ratting on you, who not even loyal to you, got you all the time you got, you know what I'm saying? And you feel like even some PRE members wasn't loyal to you, specifically Young Dolph. He was loyal to you in certain ways, and there's other people who cross you harder than Young Dolph could have ever crossed you, such as the Cornelius Smith guy. So, you know.
You said a mouthful in.
That was a good last question he asked about Cornelius, but to be honest with you, it's nothing Straight Drop can do while he's incarcerated. They both are incarcerated. So the only thing you can probably do is if you see him in transitioning, if y'all going to court together, whatever, you see him, probably put hands on him or whatever you try to do. But it's nothing you could basically do to him while you inside there. That's one. But once again, if you just dissect what he said about Dolph, at first it seems like it was the offer. Then he's making it seem like it was something else to where other people knew about their business. He said too much to the wrong person. Which one is it? To be honest with you, he didn't have no real reason to do what he did outside of trying to get money. Outside of what they said allegedly, in which, if I'm not mistaken, Cornelius also said that everything was done not only for the money, but he was promised, allegedly, a spot on CMG, allegedly. Or we just gonna say another music label, right? He was basically promised a lot of things. And then Cornelius also put Big Jook in the mix. Now, Big Jook isn't here to defend himself, but according to Cornelius, they all knew about it, as well as Govan Hernandez. Now, to this day, Govan tries to make it seem like he don't know what's going on. Cornelius is lying. But Cornelius didn't put himself up to this neither. He didn't just go and say, we're going to unalive Young Dolph. There was a reason. And even though Straight Drop didn't want to say the reason, Cornelius did. And I don't think he's lying, because what else would be the motive for him doing what he did to Young Dolph? He don't know Dolph. Dolph didn't do nothing to him. And according to Govan, Cornelius was just basically like a pill guy, a pill head, right? So what else will make him go and do what he did to Dolph outside of somebody promising him something, whether it's money, drugs, whatever it is? What will make him do what he did to Dolph? That's the question. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. How do y'all feel about Straight dropping his reasoning? He's basically saying that young Dolph started moving like an op towards him after he offered him the deal and he denied it. Do y'all think that's real, or do y'all think it's just made up? And that's just a reason he came up with to basically say he did what he did. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember,
and that's a good case of fucking dumbass. Fucking threw your life away, nigga, for no reason. Didn't even get paid to do that dumbass shit. Now look at y'all. Now look at you. Life in prison. Fucking you fucking get.
I'm Sri Thanidar. I approve this message.
Donovan McKinney thinks he's fooling us, but the facts are all right here. Dirty Money McKinney pocketed campaign cash from big banks, big oil, big pharma, big tech. And worst of all, he took money from mega Trump donor Matt Maroon. And then McKinney sold us out. He voted against raising the minimum wage, against expanding paid sick leave, and creating affordable housing. Dirty money. Donovan McKinney is not fooling anyone.
DJ, we're leaving.
Is my Old Spice in there?
I think I'm gonna stay.
So that means I'll never see you again.
Dad?
Boy, I'm talking to my Old Spice, not you.
Show your face. Show your face, please. With sugar on top.
now OTF member Duty Low, one of the only ones still free actually, did an interview with Cam Capone, and it was some interesting clips in there involving King Von. And as I always tell y'all, the only thing that separates a conspiracy theory from the truth is time. And as time have been progressing, it seems like the more and more we continue to find out that whatever happened to Von the night he passed away clearly wasn't as straightforward as people may think. Now, the average person on social media always saying things like, well, Von wanted to be a demon, so he got what he deserved. Or Von went looking to start with Quando Rondo, hit him first, and his friend did what he was supposed to do. Now, it sounds good, but all of this took place in November of 2020. Fast forward to 2026, more information has been coming out, and one of the key things we now know that we didn't know before is that according to people that was there, such as DJ U, who was King Von's DJ at the time, he claimed that Quando Rondo and Little Tim was in fact at Von's album release party. Now, to this day, I'm still trying to figure out how these guys managed to go to Von's album release party or even get in and nobody spotted them. Or how were they able to be there and everyone claimed to have seen them except Von? But then I'm also trying to figure out why were they even there in the first place? Now the whole trajectory changes because if they said Von started first by punching Quando Rondo when he seen him, then why was Quando and them borderline stalking Von in the first place? So who really started, right? Why were they at his album release party, and how did they even know to go to the same hookah spot as him when we were told that the hookah spot was supposed to be a spirit of the moment decision in the first place? So what was Quando's intent when he went to this man's album release party knowing he don't like him? And what was his intent when they went to the hookah lounge, never stepped foot in it, but parked right in front and waited there? As the security guard said, it's almost like they were sitting there setting up, waiting for something to happen.
If y'all would have been out here, you would have seen what I'm talking about. These motherfuckers just pulled up, jumping out the car. Like, they knew whatever they was going on. Yeah, they was set up before they got down. Yeah, they was set up before they got down.
Remember? Now, on another note, aside from Quando Rondo and them basically stalking Von, during this interview with Duty Low, Cam Capone would reveal that Lil Durk also called to check on Von at his album release party, which I wasn't aware of, and it's strange because he also called Boss Top phone prior to that when Boss Top tried to give Von the phone while Durk was on it, and Von clearly smacked it out of his hand when the camera got on him, apparently showing distaste as if he didn't want to be on the phone.
Phone him at Tim.
Yeah. You know my boy right here.
Remember? So the question now is this: why did Durk call a second time? We'll get into all that a bit later, but there were a few key things mentioned in this interview that I want y'all to check out, and then we're going to get into a few questions that we have in regards to what Duty Lo had to say about a few things. So y'all make sure y'all hit that thumbs up button, hype the video so we can get into the algorithm, and if you not subscribed to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it. Hold up, y'all. There's no way you're watching this video for free right now, where you could be getting paid literally just for playing games while this video play in the background at the same time. Only difference is the increase in your bank account. Now, I'm not saying you'll get rich, but I am saying that you could easily make something while doing nothing except for sitting on the couch playing games if you download the app Free Cash. Tap or click the link I pinned in the comment section or scan the QR code that I put right here on the screen. Also, if you use my link right now, they give you a little something to start off with just for signing up. So if you want a little Uber Eats or something to snack on and don't feel like dipping into your own wallet, play a few games so you don't have to spend your own ends. Now let's get back to the video. Now first, let's start off with Cam Capone mentioning that Lil Durk called Duty Lo the night of Von's album release party to speak to Von. Y'all check this out.
Now you guys are hanging out, and I think at one point, Durk calls?
Whoa. Oh yeah, Durk ended up calling it. And it was so loud, bro, I didn't even want to get off the phone. But I'm like, damn. He was like, let me see. But we was all in that turn, you feel me? Bro was out of town shooting a video. I think he was shooting The Voice or some shit, I think. I don't remember. But yeah, that was crazy.
Did him and Von get to talk?
Yeah, I put him on the phone. You know, we in the club. I'm like, turn up, you know?
Yeah.
Like, give him that energy. It was like, damn, we made it type.
Now keep in mind, this will be the second time he called, because remember the first time he called before they even went out, and that's when Von smacked the phone out of Boss Top hand. But also, we now know of 2 instances that Durk called and wanted to speak to Von and didn't get in contact with Von. He didn't get to speak to him once. All it was guys putting the phone showing Von to Durk. But why? Now Duty Lo said it was so loud bro didn't want to get off the phone. I don't know about y'all, but when it's so loud, usually I like to do the opposite and actually get off the phone. Duty Lo tried to act like he didn't know the question Cam asked. However, remember when people tried to act like Duty Lo wasn't there? Well, he admitted he was at the album release party, but not the hookah lounge where Von was ultimately unalive. Despite some people claiming he was, I don't know. I'll leave that up to y'all. Now, he also admitted that he too put Von in the camera because Durk asked for Von again. But keep in mind, why would he call again when clearly Von didn't want to speak to him when Boss Top tried to put him on the phone the first time? Then it makes you think back to that video where they say Von was arguing with someone the night he passed away before they even went out. Either arguing or he just sounded clearly upset, but whoever it was he was directing that energy towards, we wonder why. Now I find it funny that everyone wanted to get in contact with Von that night, but somehow nobody was there when he really needed them at the hookah lounge. And to this day, nobody could tell us who was in that black SUV that we clearly seen with our own 2 eyes driving to the parking lot. Nobody got out, sat there for a little, and when things popped off, it just left. Nobody knows who was inside. Nobody knows why it was there, and it was never stopped by the police as it left neither. Now, when it comes to going to that hookah lounge, it's also a mystery to this day how Von ended up there in the first place. And how is it that none of his friends knew to go to the hookah lounge, but yet Quando and Little Tim knew exactly to go there? How was it that everyone tried to make it seem like they didn't know Von was going there, but yet that rapper that claimed he was doing a song with Von says that Von told him out his own mouth that they were going to that hookah lounge? Keep in mind, when 100K Track did that interview, he made it seem like it was a spirit of the moment decision. How is it that out of everything to do that night, none of Von's other friends and also associates of Lil Durk didn't want to go to the hookah lounge? If Von wasn't himself like 100K Track says, as if he wasn't being himself, why none of those friends seen it in Von and decided to either take him home or stay by his side because, like they said, he wasn't himself, right? How was it that in that same interview, Duty Lo says King Von never did drugs, he may smoke a little marijuana, but that's it, but claimed he only drank lean with him? But somehow his autopsy says that he had MDMA in his system in a high dosage. Now, we seen him smoking marijuana at his album release party, but how did the other stuff get in his system? Unless, allegedly, a certain someone gave him that lean at his album release, and that's why a track says he was unlike himself. Allegedly. I don't know. Just trying to make sense of whatever information that we're being told.
What would you say is like your favorite tour memory with Vaughn?
When I got him to drink some lean with me in Philly, it's on the internet. When he had the throw bowl, he called himself Pastor V. Roy. When he drunk some lean with me. I got a lot of the memories, but that was one of the favorite ones. He wouldn't drink lean with nobody but me. Me for real. He ain't do drugs though, like that. Like he'll probably smoke some weed, but Vaughn ain't do no drugs like that. Or he ain't sip lean. He'll sip it with me.
And when this other clip, Cam Capone brings up another part that I always wondered about, and Duty Lo actually answered it the way I've been saying the whole time. Cam Capone says, I've interviewed many people over the years about this, and they all said you can't control Vaughn. And Duty Lo's response was, yes, you can.
I've interviewed different people about that, you know. And some people say, you know, like...
What, you can't tell them nothing?
You can't tell them nothing. Vaughn's
yes,
gonna do what Vaughn's gonna do. You know, I've interviewed people about this before, and a lot of people just said Vaughn wasn't listening to nobody.
Vaughn do listen to people, man. He just ain't listening to none of y'all. Y'all ain't never take the shit serious. If you got a person that's like passionate with that shit. So let's just say I go over there, I grab them up. Man, hell no, we ain't on that. Me and him pushing each other back and forth. You feel me? Now it comes to us yelling in each other's face. And I'm telling like, that shit dead. Watch the no, I'm not letting you fight him. That shit over with. What you finna do, whoop my ass? So he ain't listening. Y'all saying he not gonna listen to y'all. You still ain't try. You still ain't try. You ain't try to grab him. You ain't put him in no bear hug or nothing like that. That's a real friend, man. That's a real friend. I ain't worried about the consequences behind what he gonna do to me. Man, check it out, man. We not doing this, man. That goofy ass, man, we gone. You know what I'm saying? If I gotta fight with you behind that shit, we gonna fight behind that shit. But could have saved a life.
There's a place where the autumn light turns everything gold. Just like the checks Shri Tanidar takes from Trump's donors. A place where the lakes stretch on forever. And where Shri thanked ICE while it doubled arrests across Detroit. It's a special kind of place. Pure Shri.
This August, choose the real thing. Donovan McKinney, raised working class in Northeast Detroit. No donors pulling the strings. Donovan's fighting big corporations in the state house. Taking on Trump. Working for us. Michigan's own Donovan McKinney, Democrat for Congress.
In my dreams, I am a Jarritos.
Jarritos, respect the taco.
This is happening. A new world is open wide, and you're tapping into the power to learn with purpose, to make your mark, the power to succeed. Come to U Toledo. Discover the power to do.
Now y'all can't call Vaughn to ask her for no money. You can't call him and ask her to help you with your child support or help you with your rent. Or get none of his old clothes. You can't do none of that no more.
Yeah, but at the same time, Vaughn, he ain't listen, bro. They pay him to be this psychopath on the internet. Vaughn has got a good heart.
See, the whole narrative about not being able to control Vaughn, to me, was just an excuse used, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. It's just the easiest picture to paint because to the world, Vaughn was this savage demon. So it's easy to paint that narrative to people who don't truly know him. But for the people like Duty Lo that actually does know him, he says, yes, you can. Bezu said something similar as well. But here's my ideology of the whole situation, where this question never been answered neither. They love saying Vaughn gonna do what Vaughn wanna do, and you can't control Vaughn. Well, Vaughn was in the car asleep. So who woke Vaughn up? Because if Vaughn was never woken up out of his sleep, it'd be very easy to control Vaughn, right? It's almost like that saying where they say your quote unquote friends is quick to involve you in some beef, but slow to involve you in anything when it comes to money or an opportunity. Meaning, they'll call you to go spin on ops and slide on blocks and etc. But when it comes to doing something constructive, they never get in touch with you. So the point is, they wouldn't have to control Vaughn if they just would have left him sleep. And in fact, has it ever really dawned on anybody that when you really think about that Vaughn situation, this man was woken up out his sleep to literally die? Like, could you imagine that? Can you imagine minding your business, someone waking you up because your op is near, and you end up losing your life? How crazy is that? Some friends. And Big Mike made a hell of a point for one, because it's not that he ain't listened technically, because we watched the video. Not one person got in his way to stop him. Keep in mind, this is the bag. This is the ticket out the hood. Vaughn was literally gearing up to be the next Chief Keef for the O if he lasted long enough. And not one person got in his way to say, yo, bro, you wildin'. Not right here. Not one. So how didn't he listen when they didn't even give him a chance to listen? Right? Who needs enemies when you got friends like this, man? Right or right? Right or right? If I know my bro about to risk it all for nothing, I'm stepping in. If we gotta fight, so be it. We not fighting to hurt each other. I know he not gonna want to kill me. I'm not gonna kill him. So hey, if we gotta fight, we gonna fight. We gonna make up in the morning. And guess what? We live to see another day. Simple. Now, before we end this video, I know everyone always believed these type of things are conspiracy theories, and that's cool. OTF Vonnie's father did state that he went to the feds about this because, as y'all know, he also believes that his son, as well as his other counterparts, are involved in whatever happened to Vaughn that night. Vonnie's father even went as far as claiming that he went to drop off the money with his son to Little Tim just months before Vaughn was unalive. Allegedly, he says that Dirk called after and asked his son how's that door, and his son said off the hinges. Basically meaning it's a go. And as a reminder for y'all that feel that Vonnie's father is lying or just trying to get clout or is not credible, let's not forget that O-Block affiliate and very close Vaughn affiliate Mona confirmed that what Vonnie's father is saying is actually true and claim that Vaughn's family is already aware of it. Then let's also not forget when Quando Rondo baby mother kinda allegedly to him coming back up because he himself was involved in doing a certain something. Check this out.
Let everybody know what's really going on, cause nigga, who you call crying when let's act like you remember. Let's act like you remember who was there through everything, cause I know what's really going on. Then you keep hollering about broke. Okay, so why you back up? Let's ask that. Why you back up? Cause you ain't doing no shows. Oh, like stop playing with me. Don't get on this internet and play with me, cause I will real live go in. Don't ever play with me.
So once again, y'all do what y'all want with that information. Let me know what y'all think about all this. What do you think about the Duty Low interview? And did you know that Dirk was calling to check in on Vaughn for the second time? And I still wonder why, because it clearly seen through Boss Top that Vaughn didn't want to speak to him. Whenever you have a friend that tosses the phone or throw it or whatever, when they see that you're clearly on the phone and didn't say two words to you, what do that mean? It's just like the courtroom picture when Vaughn was looking at Dirk and everybody's trying to act like they didn't see that look. And those that ever been through anything in them courtroom, y'all know exactly what that look mean. But y'all jump in the comments, let me know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'ma keep on dropping. I'm out. Are you tired of a bunch of social media gurus promising you results with their course, but all they do is take a bunch of information off YouTube and Google, then sell it to you? Well, look no further. Our YouTube Tips and Tricks Masterclass course comes equipped with SEO tips and tricks, along with methods we use to growth hack our YouTube channel. It also includes step-by-step ways to publish your video before uploading to guarantee a great SEO score, therefore your videos can rank and be shown to a bigger audience. Views and subscribers don't come by luck, and just how YouTube have an algorithm, you should have one as well that can guarantee you results. We doing websites and softwares we personally use to generate money creating Faces YouTube channels. If you also would like to skip the process and just buy other pre-built accounts, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook, we also threw that in there for you too. We went through trial and error, so you don't have to. Click the link in the description or the comments and get started today.
That shit crazy, bro. That nigga
Young QC's heinous plot was revealed. It turns
when you come to that stuff. Hey, what's the Hey, what's TM? Why they spamming TMZ, gang?
Okay, folks, so I've just come out of the David hearing. This is David.
They keep locking this.
While Donald Trump and his billionaire donors' gut programs working families depend on, Democrat Tyrone Carter is fighting for us. A small business owner, former law enforcement officer, and lifelong Wayne County resident, we can count on Tyrone Carter to have our backs. As our state representative, he helped Governor Whitmer deliver tax relief for working families, voted to restore fair wages, and is fighting to stop greedy landlords from raising rents. Detroit's own. Vote for Tyrone Carter.
Andrew Tate is cooked. Send him back. That's what I say. He is absolutely deep fried. And it's now official. The Trump administration are not going to help Andrew Tate and his brother out. All right. All of the Epstein favors were used up. The new Epsteins, they're not getting no bail. They're not getting no support. Okay. These guys are just Jeffrey Epstein twins with a Signal and Telegram account. That's all they are, okay? And it is official. Trump is not going to allow the Tate brothers to be extradited to Britain. In this video, I'm going to be showing you everything about why they are cooked, the newly unsealed court files with all the details about the disgusting, depraved, despicable charges against these two clowns. You've already seen how they've snitched on themselves in previous videos, but they're completely cooked and they're not going to get no favors despite having shaken a few hands in the right rooms, okay? It's official. US president will not step in to block pairs' return to the UK. They will not be passing go. They will not be collecting $200 or pounds. They were arrested in Miami on new abuse charges, all right? Crimes against fashion, crimes against women and girls, crimes against children. They've got it all. Okay, so it said the White House will officially allow Andrew Tate and his brother to be extradited to Britain, despite pressure from figures in Donald Trump's inner circle. The US president will not step in to block the brothers' return to the UK after they were arrested in Miami on new SA charges. Andrew Tate is facing charges related to indecent images of young'uns and extreme P. Absolutely despicable. Okay, the social media influencer and his younger sibling, Tristan Tate, were detained by US police on Saturday at the request of British detectives who are seeking their extradition to face trial over allegations of the R-word and human trafficking. They are disgusting. Diddlers. They're diddlers. They're young and diddlers by the sounds of things, allegedly. This is all alleged, but they have admitted to doing just as much in certain videos, okay? And you're going to be seeing a lot more of that going around. Twitter is just, X is just full of Tate snitching on themselves right now, and it's rightly so. So their arrest has prompted calls from prominent Republicans and some admin figures for Mr. Trump to intervene amid claims that the brothers were victims of a politically motivated witch hunt, similar to those the president said he faced. But the US official told The Telegraph that the White House would not become involved in this case, which is expected to drag on for months. They said the White House has no involvement and no feelings on the issue. They said, you're on your own, buddy. This ain't nothing to do with me, and don't compare your weird case. Don't compare your weird case to mine, okay? Andrew and Tristan got a weird case. Why are they around? The lack of intervention will be a blow for the Tates, who reportedly contacted people in Mr. Trump's orbit and leveraged their relationship with administration figures to build a campaign supporting their alleged innocence. The timing was a bit suspicious. Suddenly they're swanning around Washington, D.C., shaking hands, kissing babies. Apparently they've been kissing babies for 15 years, if the UK authorities are anything to be believed. But anyway, it said the brothers have long been hinted they have friends in high places. When the pair were first arrested in Florida, they definitely got friends in high places. Jeffrey Epstein's definitely in a low place, actually. He in the sky, though. He in the sky for sure. Anyway, when the pair were first arrested in Florida last year following a period of house arrest in Romania, Andrew Tate suggested in leaked text that the Trump administration had helped him and his brother flee the country. Mr. Trump was asked about the claim at the time. He said he knew nothing about it. No idea. No idea. Okay? But he said in leaked text. That's what he was saying. So Andrew Tate first claimed to be close to the Trump family and in contact with Mr. Trump's son, Barron, in July 2024, following an assassination attempt on the president. Came in from Romania last year to the US, telling reporters, I'm very close with the Trump family. I know them well. Among the Tate's other allies is Alina Harbour, Mr. Trump's former personal lawyer who was forced to quit as New Jersey's top prosecutor in December, telling Andrew Tate on a podcast last January, I got your back over here. J.D. Vance, the vice president, also follows both brothers on X. Before their arrest last week, the brothers spent several days in Washington, D.C., hosted by a Trump envoy, and were seen in the halls of Capitol Hill and enjoying one of the city's most exclusive private members clubs. Trump spoke to Andrew for about 15 minutes. Paolo Zampoli, the former modeling scout who introduced the president to Melania, invited the Tates to a summer party on July the 15th. Sources closest to Mr. Zampoli said he was largely unaware of the brothers and didn't know the exact purpose of their trip. He said he spoke to Andrew for about 15 minutes in 2 days, said the source. The night before, the Italian-American businessman accompanied the pair to the Ned, an exclusive private members club near the White House, which is frequented by high-level politicians. The Tates' arrest has prompted anger among large portions of the president's base, who have become frustrated at the lack of prosecutions with Trump's enemies and those associated with the Epstein files. This is like a low budget gas station DVD remake of the Epstein files, the Andrew Tate files. Another U.S. Official close to discussions about the case told The Telegraph that the White House had been blindsided by the U.S. Department of Justice's decision to follow through with the British arrest warrant. The attitude is that we've not arrested Democrats that stole the election or people associated with Epstein, but we're going to hand over American citizens to the UK. They are UK citizens too, all right? People are just dummies in this situation, unfortunately. It says Rubio didn't know about it. Trump didn't know about it. Todd Blanche didn't know about it. We've watched Trump get hit with phony indictments. Our attitude is, if you have the proof, show us. This guy is a real egghead, all right? This is Joseph McBride, the brother's lawyer. He's on Twitter tweeting about the Matrix rather than actually fighting for any justice, but fighting for any freedom, I'll have you. But he's not going to be able to do anything. The brothers appeared in a Florida court on Monday wearing orange prison jumpsuits with their hands shackled. They were told they would remain behind bars until a judge considered the request. After their initial request last year, the brothers hired Joseph McBride, a lawyer who defended Trump supporters accused of insurrection on January the 6th. On Monday, he said the case is garbage. It's a stitch-up job. Andrew Tate was already facing 10 charges, including 3 of R-word, 4 of actual bodily harm, 2 of human trafficking, 1 of controlling prostitution for gain, and his younger brother was recently facing 11 charges, including 3 counts of the R-word, 6 of actual bodily harm, 2 counts of human trafficking. And on Saturday, the Crown Prosecution Service announced a raft of new charges, a whole bunch of things, specifically S-trafficking and indecent images of a young'un. Tate was also charged with 2 counts of the R-word, 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation. They now have 59 charges against the both of them. So, newly unsealed court files are now releasing sort of the full details about the charges against the brothers, and it's really, really extremely, shockingly, shoddily bad. So I've got them here. Okay, so look, this is a document that's got some of the details. What I think I might do is I might just take it off screen and read it to you guys, because to be honest, you can look at me putting together the words, but I'm probably going to end up showing some things on screen. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm not going to be able to upload the video. It's going to be nonsense. So let me just put what's something gross. If I just put a picture of Jeffrey Epstein on the screen, perhaps that would be funny instead. So Epstein, Andrew Tate. Maybe there's like a picture of them two together, or like a fake side by side. Tell you what, I'm just going to throw this on the screen. Let me just throw this on the screen, but I'll read you the article. I'll read you some of the details, okay? So it says, the new documents detail the R-word charges against the Tate brothers in the UK. Here's what we know. So they're still in custody in Florida. They're fighting extradition requests from the UK, but the newly unsealed documents reveal more details from prosecutors about the latest S-crime charges that they're facing. So the federal filings released Monday night detail complaints made by women to British officials made by women.
In front of the camera. Was it in front of the camera?
Yeah, you got it.
Action.
We asked our online students across the country why they chose Southern New Hampshire University.
I wanted to find a university that had a flexible program.
That flexibility was amazing. It allowed me to continue to live my life.
I went to a couple of colleges. None of them worked. Southern New Hampshire University says that they can get you to that finish line. They get you to the finish line.
Go to snhu.edu.
If you want to see my videos early, extended, and uncut, visit patreon.com/traplawross, where you can sign up for just $2. On the 23rd of August 2024, Philadelphia rapper by the name of YBC Duel was gunned down in a car. To the outside world, this was another tragic loss of a young, promising rapper, a victim of gun violence in an inner-city war zone. But to the followers of Philadelphia drill music, his death was far from surprising, as YBC Duel had another nickname, Mr. Disrespectful, a moniker earned from years of disrespectful trolling of rival gangsters. He would diss his ops in his music, bragging about how his friends had killed their friends, and he would post videos that appeared to show him digging up the graves of dead rivals. And perhaps worst of all, he would troll his gang's victims' grieving mothers on the internet.
What do you think are some of the most disrespectful things you've done? Obviously the one that comes to mind is, the notorious, the grave digging situation.
That's something new. Though, like, I've been drawn, like, one of the most disrespectful John, though, when I said I was gonna slap K3 mom, though.
You were gonna smack his mom?
Yeah, cause she be dissing my homies. I don't know what she be on. She like an old miserable mother.
With all of this dark trolling, it's no surprise then that many people online were not surprised by the death of YBC Duel. Many were in fact happy that this rapping menace had been taken off the streets. But in many ways, the life and death of Mr. Disrespectful is a symptom of a very demented and deranged music scene flourishing in Philadelphia. The emergence of drill music originally in Chicago saw the rebirth of a new disrespectful form of gangster rap, where rappers rapped about real murders and disrespected their ops, dead and alive, by name in songs for millions to hear. And for thousands of the most dedicated fans of drill music emerged discussion forums on places like Reddit, where interested fans could discuss and follow along with the latest song releases and murders taking place in the Chicago underworld. This form of gangster rap punditry has now spread all over the world, with drill music scenes and their related fan communities all following along, keeping score of the gang wars and the music about it in their respective cities. From the knife-murdering gangster rappers in London, followed by the UK drill subreddit, to the gun-toting Chicago drillers in r/Chiracology, or the blood and crip monitoring world of r/Cali banging in Los Angeles. Drill music and its surrounding culture has exploded in popularity all over the world, and Philadelphia is no exception, with the Reddit community Philly Wiki being the premier hangout and discussion spot for anything occurring in Philadelphia's gang or drill music world. However, despite Chicago having a long history of disrespect when it comes to ops, it seems that Philadelphia has now taken it to a new level, because beyond Mr. Disrespectful, there's crew after crew of Philadelphia gangsters turned rappers willing to say the unthinkable on the mic. And that's not just disrespecting the dead. In Philly, you have rappers killing multiple people and then rapping about it immediately afterwards. Not only that, but within hours of murders taking place in Philadelphia, rabid fans take to the internet and social media to speculate on the most juicy details, sharing surveillance footage of murders and analyzing gang hits and hitters like they're professional basketball players. All while the real-life district attorney for the city, tasked with shutting the gangs down, trolls them mercilessly in news conferences, making fun of the gangs' names and promising to take them off the streets for good.
Oh, shit.
Good.
Ultimately, this case is about YBC. And YBC, sometimes known as the Young Bag Chasers, has a new name. I didn't invent it. Somebody else did. The new name is You've Been Charged, and the newer name is You've Been Convicted. We did a press conference not all that long ago about a group called O to the 4. And at that time, we said O to the 4 was going to go to the jail, and they did. There is a group known as 524. Well, some of what we're going to talk about today will close the jailhouse door on 524. We're going to talk about CCK. CCK is going away. They better get ready. We're going to talk about a group known as 56th Street, and also sometimes called Christie Rec. because they can be found near Christie Rec at times. Well, we got a new kind of rec. We got a new kind of recreation for members of the group Christie Rec. You might call it SCI Rec, State Correctional Institution Rec. Christie Rec is going to get yard time.
The world of Philadelphia drill is like no other music scene in the world, so today we're going to take a closer look at the city so violent that some people call it Killadelphia, and answer once and for all, how has the city of Philadelphia become the most disrespectful city in drill?
In West Philadelphia.
People that never been to the city of Philadelphia, man, the city of Philly is rough, man. It's a rough city. Philly is like, it's like a pretty much like, don't want you to win, and people just, like, everybody out for themselves.
So summer nights can even turn cold. And the streets of Philly with don't even get to turn old.
And B, you feel me? Pastorius and B, as you can see, you feel me? My block, where I get my name from, you feel me? PNB Rock, Pastorius and B and Rock, you feel me? Everybody on my way got the same, like, little acronym in front of their names. Like, you get a lot of PNBs.
Hey, yo, where the fuck Ronnie at, yo? Ronnie, where the fuck you at?
I got some to say too though. All ops, CCK, LMG, 56th Street, Belmont, 38th Street, 39th Street, the Dub too, Collar Hill, Parkside. Like, is the real disrespectful. I'm going who you is. I will disrespect you.
You could be the next K. You could be the next K.
When I realized I started making money off dissing dead niggas, like, bro, I really make like.
When I was watching some of the documentaries about what's going on in the streets of Philly, it was saying that like the average for a long time was like 300 murders a year, and then the drill music starts to hit, and then all of a sudden it's like 500 a year.
You wanna smack his mom?
Yeah, cause she be dissing my homie. I don't know what she be on. She like an old miserable mother.
You're a rapper, young boy. You burning me out like crack. Well, why y'all getting that far away morning? What they want? What they want it? No, this life. What time you ever jumped out or drove on a drill? Never drove. You don't get no participation credit. You don't even drive on it. You get participation for real.
Do you feel like you could make it out without dissing the dead?
Like, yeah, I can do that, but I want to be the first that do make it out from my city of this one it is.
Upon arrival, police observed the victim, who was later ID'd as Joshua Munson. He was suffering from multiple gunshot wounds.
New information about a deadly shooting on a basketball court in Philadelphia's Mantua section.
No, last time I've been in this park, well, Bud died.
A 6-year-old girl has been shot in a drive-by shooting in the 3800 block of Wyalusing Avenue.
In Port Richmond, a gunman shot and killed a 19-year-old man and wounded a 49-year-old believed to be the teenager's father.
Daewoo Scruggs, he recorded songs and videos to make people laugh. Tragically, someone killed him while he was recording a live video on social media. Police are offering a $20,000 reward for his death. It's one of 492 murders in Philadelphia this year.
One person is dead, 3 others fighting for their lives after a shooting in Overbrook Park.
16-year-old Amin Hurst is now in custody and facing charges as an adult.
Now leading the search for 2 escaped prisoners, 18-year-old Amin Hurst and 24-year-old Nasir Graham. 2 teens were shot in separate shootings in less than an hour.
Released in memory and honor of 16-year-old Kaylin Johnson.
18-year-old Tommy Frazier gathered at a vigil at the Christie Rec Center. Frazier and a friend were killed Wednesday.
O to the 4. Today we want to send a very clear message to the members of O to the 4. You like that name? How about go to the jail? Because that is where you're going to go.
A shooting that left 3 teens dead and another one injured.
The same goes for the young bag chasers. The same goes for PNB, Brickyard Mafia, Topsiders, 5th Street, 7th Street, Wilson Park. Time is up.
A 25-year-old man was killed after being shot in the chest and hand. Sources ID him as Abdul Vix, a rapper known as YBC Duel.
I'm gonna become 50. Fasim said the ops ain't gonna kill me, I'm gonna die from old age. Ops ain't gonna kill me, I'm gonna die from old age.
They killed your ass. Oh, man. Niggas be thinking they bulletproof, bro.
To fully appreciate the state of Philadelphia's streets in the modern day, then we're going to have to go way back. Before teenage gangsters and drill rappers made the streets their war zone, back to the very start of this historic city. To understand its unique culture and attitude, and to appreciate the inherent grit that underlines society in Philadelphia. These are a people that are tough and refuse to back down in the face of opposition. There are people who refuse to be told what to do or how to live, and will always fight for their way of life. And this is an attitude that's permeated Philadelphia's society for hundreds of years now. Philadelphia is actually one of the most significant cities when it comes to the history of the United States. After being founded in 1682 by an Englishman, William Penn, an influential member of the Quaker movement, which promoted religious freedom, democracy, and equal human rights in early America, the city would later play a key role as a central gathering spot for the nation's founding fathers during the American Revolution and the following Revolutionary War. And it would host the First Continental Congress in 1774 and the Second Continental Congress starting in 1775, where the 13 colonies would plot their get back against the British tyrants. You see, Philly has actually been sliding against the British from day one, and they would elect one of the most respected OGs from their bloc, George Washington, as the commander of their Continental Army. During the Second Continental Congress, the Philly native Benjamin Franklin was also given the task to pen the draft of the first official diss on paper against the Brits. You see, Philly's been chasing that bag from early, that's why these guys are on the money. But anyway, the Declaration of Independence would clap back at the British ops, and Ben Franklin would showcase his impeccable pen game, where he would go bar for bar, detailing just how the King of Great Britain had wronged the American people. Now, after the Brits heard this diss, they would be outraged and the war would escalate. During this time, Philadelphia would also serve as the nation's revolutionary capital, which made it a particularly special target, and the main bloc for the United States to defend. And in 1777, the Brits would stand on business, successfully sliding in Philadelphia and taking over the city. But the occupation wouldn't last that long, as one of Britain's oldest ops, the French, would click up with the American 13 colonies, making the British-occupied New York vulnerable to naval attack by their old rivals, which forced the British to do the dash, getting run off the block and eventually retreating from Philadelphia. Philly would not only be one of the early capitals of America, but also the nation's largest city until 1790, when it was surpassed by New York. But this special time as America's leading city established Philadelphia as an economic and intellectual powerhouse in the country for hundreds of years. It's also the home to many of the alleged firsts in American history, such as having the nation's first library in 1731, the first hospital in 1751, the first central bank in 1781, and the first zoo in 1874. However, in much more recent times, despite the city's central role in America's history, Philadelphia has become somewhat passed in fame by some of the flashier and larger cities in the nation, like New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago. But still, over the years, the city has had a strong hold on American culture and has been famously depicted in numerous popular movies and TV shows, like providing the backdrop for the ultimate boxing underdog story in the Rocky movie series, which showcased some of Philly's most famous locations, such as the large stairway now called the Rocky Steps going up to the Philadelphia Museum of Art, with this being where the iconic Benjamin Franklin Parkway leading to downtown Philly can be seen in all its glory. Then there's the dark, twisted comedy of the longest-running American live-action sitcom, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, that mostly takes place in the South Philly neighborhood, known for its diverse working-class population. However, both of these popular pieces of media have mostly centered around white characters, but the city also has a very rich African-American history going back decades and even centuries, as the black population in Philly has slowly grown to become the majority. In fact, the first African-Americans arrived in Philadelphia even before the founder of the city, William Penn, as they were brought in as slaves by the first European settlers. Later, even the first president of the newly formed United States, George Washington, would actually keep slaves at his home in Philadelphia. And when one of these, a young woman named Ona Oni Judge, would escape, the president would publish ads in the local papers to try and get her captured and returned. However, Philadelphia has also become home to the first abolition movement in the country, driven by the Quaker movement that the city's founder had also been part of. This movement eventually forming the Pennsylvania Abolition Society. Now, the number of African Americans in Philadelphia slowly increased during the 18th and 19th centuries, with many free black residents becoming involved in the abolitionist movement and serving as conductors on the Underground Railroad, a network of people, organizations, secret routes, and safe houses that helped slaves to escape from the antebellum South. Most famously, Harriet Tubman would escape her slavery in Maryland in 1849, finding refuge in Philadelphia, from where she would make over a dozen trips to rescue others still held in slavery. Philadelphia was also home to the Free African Society, founded by
Ready to snap? Snap into a Slim Jim.
Hotels.com is where you go to choose from hundreds of thousands of hotels and earn rewards on every stay. It's exactly what it sounds like. Unlike catfish, which is not what it sounds like. Hotels.com. It's all in the name.
They say higher education is outdated, irrelevant. But at Grand Canyon University, we shatter the status quo. GCU's accredited MBA program is 100% online and is designed to shape leaders through servant leadership.
GCU can help take your passion and scale your business to serve your community.
This is purpose-driven education. Take action. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Visit gcu.edu.
By Richard Allen and Absalom Jones in 1787, the first black religious institution in the city, which led to the creation of the first independent black churches in America. However, like in most other northern cities, Philadelphia's white population would also show great hostility towards the new black inhabitants. And in the early 19th century, Philadelphia went through several major race riots that destroyed black homes, businesses, and abolitionist meeting places, such as the Pennsylvania Hall that was built by the abolitionists only to be burnt down by the white rioters a few days after it opened in 1838. In the 20th century, the Great Migration drew a wave of black migrants from the southern states to Philadelphia, who were both escaping from the Jim Crow era, attracted by wartime job opportunities during World War I. And because of this, Philly's black population doubled from 63,000 in 1900 to 134,000 in 1920. Most of these new arrivals came from rural areas and were working class, competing for jobs with the white population, many of whom were also recently received migrants. This would lead to yet more racially motivated riots and even a lynching in the nearby town of Coatesville, where a black steelworker named Zachariah Walker was burned alive by a mob after he had allegedly shot and killed a policeman in 1911. This would prompt even President Roosevelt to write an editorial in a newspaper condemning the attack, but nevertheless, everyone indicted for it would eventually be acquitted. Later during the 20th century, the black population of Philly would grow significantly despite becoming increasingly segregated to poorly upkept neighborhoods that the government-sponsored Homeowners Loan Corporation established as part of President Roosevelt's New Deal during the Great Depression. Many of these areas housing black inhabitants being considered hazardous or definitely declining. But despite all the challenges that the black population in Philly were facing, their numbers kept growing significantly throughout the century, peaking at over 650,000 residents in 1970, at the time making up 1/3 of the city's population. Unfortunately, around this time, America would go through a major phase of deindustrialization, and Philly, being part of the so-called Rust Belt region in the northeastern United States, would get hit particularly badly by the decline of industrial working-class jobs. The white population of the city would respond to this by moving to the suburbs in the neighboring counties, while the black population would both lack the resources to do the same, as well as being commonly still subjected to discriminatory housing policies. This essentially locked them into the poor inner cities where the wages would keep dropping and the poverty kept increasing. As a result of the white flight from the city, the population would decline while the percentage of the black population from the overall population would grow, with the black population eventually becoming the majority coming into the 2000s. The changing demographics in the latter half of the 20th century would once again cause unrest in the city, leading to events like the 1964 Philadelphia race riot, also known as the Columbia Avenue riot, as tensions between Philly's black population and police department accused of police brutality would boil over, with this taking place during the civil rights era when similar riots would take place all over America. But perhaps the most shocking event would take place a few decades later, in 1985, when the Philly police
give a whole fucking history lesson. I just want to gang shit.
force in the industry. And while questions about Uzi's possible gang affiliations have swirled over the years, DJ Drama and Don Cannon, Uzi's mentors and the heads of Generation Now, his label, have repeatedly debunked these rumors, emphasizing that Uzi's sole loyalty lies with their label and the music game, and that he's not a street rapper like the gangster rappers. This revelation disrupted the typical narratives around street life and affiliations, marking Uzi as somebody much more connected to music and creativity than the streets, but still being inspired by life in Philly. In a sense, Lil Uzi Vert represents a shift in Philly's hip-hop scene, a brief move away from the hardcore streets-driven stories of battle rappers like A.R.Ab to a more emotionally complex and commercially savvy sound, and his journey highlights the power of mystique and artistry where public perception often blurs the lines between reality and performance art. But after Lil Uzi Vert's meteoric rise in the mid-2010s, another Philly native began carving his own path in the hip-hop scene, PNB Rock. But unlike Uzi's energetic genre-blending style, PNB Rock, born Rakim Hashim Allen, would bring a completely different vibe to the table. His music was a reflection of the duality of life in the streets of Philly, hopelessness mixed with fleeting joy. His breakout single Self Selfish, released in 2016, showcased his ability to merge emotional storytelling with catchy melodies, a sound that caught the attention of mainstream audiences. Originally from Germantown, near Pastorius and Banton streets, from which he gets the P&B moniker from, with there being a gang of the same name in this area. P&B Rock's adolescence was rough. Raised in a Muslim family, his father had been murdered when he was just 3 years old, and so he was raised by his mother. By age 13, he was being sent to juvenile detention centers for committing robberies and fighting in school. By 19, Rock had found himself behind bars again, this time serving 33 months for drug charges. But it was during this time in prison that P&B Rock honed his craft, studying how to blend hip-hop and pop to create an original sound that would later define his career. And he quickly made a name for himself after his stint in jail. By the time he dropped the song Selfish, he had solidified his place in the rap music world. Like many rappers from a tough environment, the streets always seemed to follow him, and danger would always be lurking, even far away from the streets of Philly. And on September the 12th, 2022, P&B Rock's life was tragically cut short during a robbery at Roscoe's House of Chicken and Waffles in South Los Angeles. The incident, where P&B Rock was targeted for his jewelry, shocked fans and peers alike. And just days before his death, in an interview with DJ Academics, P&B Rock talked about a close call that he'd had previously with gang members in LA, and he described how he felt unsafe in certain areas and often avoided being outside, knowing that being a successful rapper would make him a target.
Yo, I hated just walking up to like broad daylight, like, yo, give me your chain. Like, I'm like, yo,
try me on some. It'd be like every time.
They try to take your jewelry or something?
I don't know, but it'd be like, I be on and I'm not, where I'm from, we like sneaky criminals. Like in LA, it's like they bold. It's like they want you to know, they want to spark a conversation with you first before they get into some Some of them might just go crazy. Like I know some that too. They might be on their sneaky too. But the majority of the times I got into some, it was like they just gave a drop up too fast. You feel me? So the second time I got into some, like, I was just talking loud as wanting me to hear their conversation. And it's like, I'm with my peoples. Like, I'm with my daughter and my girl. Like, why they talking about this gangster? Like, with this around? Like, we outside, we on Fairfax. I'm like, man, you know, I already peed it.
It's gangsters out there on Fairfax?
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, what the f is going on? Like, I'm on Fairfax right now. So I'm like, man, we out of here. You feel me? Like, we going. My girl, like, no, we ain't. What's wrong? I'm like, I'm just going off of the vibes. Like, we out.
Is she peeping the energy? Because I'm
she ain't
you on
peeping.
point.
Yeah, she ain't peeping. She was thinking I'm tripping.
About women sometimes.
She be thinking I'm tripping. So, in the mix of all this, I'm like, no, we out. So she peeped that I'm serious. She's like, no, we out. Drive probably like 2 blocks in the street. She thinking it's game. She pull over somewhere else. Like, oh, I wanted to go to this store right here. And then in the mix of me, like telling her like where to park at, it's like somebody just came fast and took the parking spot, like the same spot that we. Yeah. I'm like, dude, they must have been following me or something, bro. How did this car get behind me this fast? Like I ain't even look. I look back, and it was there quick as.
But following his murder, 3 suspects were arrested, including a 17-year-old and his father, Freddie Trone, as well as a woman, Chantrell Trone, all linked to the robbery and killing. Later, more individuals were implicated in the case, including Tremont Jones, who was accused of alerting the killers to P&B Rock's location. P&B Rock's story stands as another grim reminder of the dangers that fame can bring, particularly for rappers. And his death parallels fates of those other LA-based rappers like Nipsey Hussle and Draco the Ruler, as well as New York drill rapper Pop Smoke, all of whom fell victim to senseless violence in the gang-dominated streets of Los Angeles. But despite his efforts to steer clear of trouble, P&B Rock, like many before him, found out that the streets have a long reach. And while P&B Rock represented a more melodic, emotional side of Philly's hip-hop scene, a newer generation has emerged in his wake, determined to leave their mark on the city too. Another one of the rising names from P&B's block in Germantown is Kaiser Reeves, better known on stage as Hop Out Blick.
So, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people who ain't too familiar with you.
Yeah, I already know. It's Hop Out Blick, the Orlando Trip. The real book is it's a lot of imposters out here too. They ain't me though.
Repping the same P&B set that P&B Rock hailed from, Hop Out Blick is seen by many as part of the younger generation known as the Torchers, a group carrying the torch of P&B into the future, though with a harder, more drill-orientated sound of music. However, Hop Out Blick's burgeoning rap career has been overshadowed by his involvement in a violent shooting. In April 2024, Reeves was charged with murder in connection with a shooting that left 3 teenagers dead: Mark Ballard, Salah Fleming, and Khalif Fresky, with another person being seriously wounded. According to the police, the incident stemmed from a gun trafficking deal gone wrong, with Reeves and others attempting to rob the buyers, which quickly escalated into gunfire. Despite the gravity of the charges against him, Hop Out Blick continued to push his music career whilst on the run. With over 20,000 Instagram followers and a strong presence in Philly's drill rap scene, he dropped tracks like Double Coffins, where he and his crew flaunted weapons, allegedly props, in front of the camera. And his boldness extended to interviews too, where he openly discussed his life and music, seemingly unfazed by the fact that he was indeed wanted by the authorities.
Like I said, like I just started popping my shit. Like I just started talking about that shit. Like it be no cap in my rap. Like I like that shit all entertainment though, you feel me? But that's made up.
Hop Out Blick's rise and now potential fall reflects the darker side of Philly's rap culture, where fame and street life often intersects with tragic consequences. As the tortures continue to emerge out of the next wave of PNB, the story of Hop Out Blick will play a significant role in shaping the narrative of this generation, caught right in between the allure of music and the danger of the streets. But while the story of Hop Out Blick and the tortures unfolded, another crew was steadily rising to prominence in Philadelphia's volatile underground rap scene, the Young Bag Chasers, or YBC. This group, a dangerous collection of rappers from West Philadelphia, had been deeply involved in a gang war, battling at least 6 rival gangs across the city. One of the founders of YBC was one of the earliest rappers from their set, J100, dropping tracks like Turn Up Part 1, a street song with bars all about shooting their ops and running around Philly with guns. But behind all of these gangster rap songs are real stories of the actual deadly gang war playing out in the streets of Philly. Their music, much like their street reputations, were fueled by disses, often calling out fallen rivals in their songs. And it wasn't just music for these guys, it was personal, and it earned them a toxic infamy on platforms like Reddit. The streets would buzz with chatter that YBC had made enemies on nearly every block in West Philly, pushing their way to the top by stacking bodies and releasing tracks that celebrated their violent exploits. But as the tables begun to turn, those same blocks that YBC had been taunting came together to take revenge. The narrative would shift, and the once feared YBC at times would start becoming the hunted. People would say that they had torched so many neighborhoods, only for those very blocks to unite and start torching them back, all while continuing to rack up views on their inflammatory rap songs. Despite the online hatred, YBC became a name that rang out across the streets of Philly. But on the opposite side of this conflict was people like Lil Bucks from O to the 4, a prominent figure in Philly's drill rap scene too, who's gone on to have a prolific rap career, as well as rappers whose hard-hitting tracks and unmistakable presence on the mic made him a target of the ops too, as well as fans on Reddit desperately trying to work out his specific gang affiliations. OT7 Kwani is Zoo Gang, a crew with another affiliated rapper, Poundside
That's
Pop,
that one
known for
nigga that
tracks
said
like
Meek
Zoo
Mill
Militant,
couldn't
who
go
apparently
back to
famously rejected a record deal from Meek Mill. Kwani, who started gaining traction around 2020 with his crew No Regrets, featuring rappers like NR Bor and Lil Nas. Coming into his own with a series of solo freestyles by late 2021, his style and presence were undeniable, and his collabs with other notable figures, including Skrilla, made him a key player on the field. Skrilla, a more versatile artist who initially avoided gang affiliations, eventually found himself aligned with major figures in the city's rap scene on both sides. Though he would initially steer clear of picking sides, his actions would end up speaking louder than his earlier videos. By 2023, Skrilla had found himself collaborating with all corners of the city, including Lil Uzi Vert. He would even work on tracks that seemed to intentionally blur the lines between friend or foe, featuring on tracks with YBC Doll's ops like Lil Bucks and Poundside Pop, with their ironically titled song Hood Hopper. But his appearance in a controversial and disrespectful collab with YBC Doll titled McButtons and McNuggets Part 2 led many people to believe that Skrilla had ultimately sided with the YBC gang, considering that this was a song disrespecting a dead rival of YBC. Skrilla's willingness to navigate Philly's treacherous rap politics made him both respected and feared, and it wasn't long until the streets started to take notice. But anyway, those are the key figures, and now you know the complicated background to Philly's rap music history. In the next chapter, let's dive deeper into some of these gangs behind the music and the streets they control, to peel back the layers and understand why Philadelphia's drill scene has become a powder keg ready to explode. So let's take a closer look at the modern day gangs inspiring the murder music in Philadelphia, most specifically one of the most deadly groups, YBC, the Young Bag Chasers. The streets of Philadelphia have been dangerous for decades, and despite the many gangs of Italian American and African American origin that have operated in the city over the last 100 years, in today's day and age, it's the younger, smaller sets of African American gangs with an interest in rap and drill music that are causing the most chaos on the streets of Philly. On Reddit forums like the infamous Philly Wiki detailing the going-ons in Philadelphia's gang strongholds, people share fan-made gang maps which identify all of the blocks and gangs and their respective turf in Philadelphia. And these are updated constantly, showing countless gangs to be aware of in Philly's treacherous streets. And in terms of today's story, there's really one gang that stands out amongst the crowd, not only being one of the most dangerous, but also the most disrespectful. This is a crew known in the streets as YBC. YBC is a Philly street gang with the letters YBC standing for Young Bag Chasers, or Youngers Bout Chicken. J100 was a founding member and rapper from the crew, and YBC Dull, aka Mr. Disrespectful, would wind up being one of the most prominent members in recent years, particularly as a result of his popular and offensive rap songs all about the gang war. Other prominent YBC members include Fat Seam, Eam Stacks, Mir Pablo, FS DeBender, Reek 1200, Curry, F5, Darfetti, Baby 1K, Baby Wick, Yak Yola, Money Making T.O., Baby Car, Kerr, Peso, and Lil Moo. The YBC turf is 42nd, 43rd, and 39th Streets, with their area sometimes being referred to as Josh World in memory of YBC Josh, one of the earliest members to lose their life to the gang war. At some point, YBC expanded and formed an alliance with a North Philly crew notorious for shootings called YFA. In the now infamous Brandon Buckingham interview, YBC Dole explained how YFA is actually the younger generation of the YBC gang.
Would you say that YBC is from West Philly?
Yeah, YBC is the bottom. We got a couple that's like from North and shit. Majority, like YBC originated from West. And everybody in YBC, like we somebody like Big Brother or something that's in like YFA. Like it's two groups, it's YBC and YFA. That's the younger version of us.
Interestingly, one of Philly's most famous singers in the modern era was PNB Rock, and his PNB gang hail from a nearby block and is affiliated with the YBC and YFA crews. YBC Dole would even take Brandon Buckingham to tour PNB Rock's block, showing you just how comfortable YBC Dole felt there.
Past 30th Street right now. We on past 30th and Baton. We in PNB. This PNB Rock block though. Like this where PNB Rock from. Like
Hop Out Blick is another famous member affiliated with PNB who made numerous songs with YBC Dole. Now Hop Out Blick is currently incarcerated for double murder after 3 young men lost their lives in a robbery turned shootout, with this murder receiving a bunch of media attention due to the young age of the boys involved. But after the murders, Hop Out Blick would drop songs seemingly mentioning the tragic events, with many people reporting that he was self-snitching in these songs and that it might be the very reason he got locked up. This younger generation of PNB members sometimes refer to themselves as the Tortures, and they're infamous for being incredibly dangerous in the streets as allies of YBC. Now eventually, YBC began to beef with a group of gangs in their neighborhood, with several of these smaller gangs clicking up to defend against YBC. CCK was a collective of gangs that would form against YBC after years of violence and disrespect. This collective was made up of 3 groups: the Campers, the Clappers, and the Clappers with a K. The first C in CCK standing for the Campers, who are based on O to the 4. The second C is for the Clappers, based on 56th Street, and the K, standing for Clappers starting with a K, hail from 7th Street. The Campers, or O to the 4, takes the O from 60th Street and 4 from 64th Street, as Lil Mur from O to the 4 broke down in an interview with Philly Fame.
You from, 64th Street, y'all call that O to the 4. I mean, explain that for the people when...
It's 60th and Lansdowne, and 64th and Cop.
Alright, okay, yeah, go ahead.
My ties for real, for real. We all grew up together, you digging?
I'm confused.
That's all.
Now, one of the most notable members of CCK is Lil Bucks, a rapper from the gang who has multiple songs on YouTube that have millions of streams. A few other prominent members of CCK include HL Osama, Sid aka Fro, Buka, and a plethora of other members who we might touch on in this video. But a number of other crews would also click up with CCK to beef against YBC. For instance, the 39th Street clicked up with 44th Street aka the Mont in an effort to avenge Sid and Kanye, 2 young men who were killed in this deadly gang war. YBC Dole would also beef with a few other sets from around his turf, with 59th Street and 62nd Street also being ops of YBC Dole and his set. This means YBC is surrounded by ops on almost every side, and interestingly, the music made by members of all of these gangs would be a major catalyst in the violence going on their blocks. But anyway, YBC members would actually begin making music a number of years ago, with one of its founding members, J100, being one of the first people to start making music all the way back in 2017. One of his first songs, Know How We Comin', featured Lil Car, where the 2 teenagers flex that the ops know how they are coming and that they should be afraid of the violent tendencies of YBC members. A month later, he dropped the track Trenches with 2K Rico, and less than a year after that, J100 would drop a remix of Tekashi 6ix9ine's song Kuda featuring YBC Hemo, which shows Jay rapping in 6ix9ine's flow, albeit much more believably whilst rapping about the violence going on around him. Another song he did around this time was a feature for YBC Hemo, their song called The Life, a song that's all about the life of these 2 teenage boys from West Philadelphia trying to grind their way out of the violent neighborhood they were born into. Around 3 months later, Jay would drop another song titled Blackin' Out, and J100 would have been at the oldest around 16 years old when recording these songs, but by that age, him and his friends were already rapping about the dark life they were living, discussing incarceration, and even their dead friends. But over on the other side of the fence, CCK also had members who were dropping music around this time too, Lil Bucks, who would shake up the streets when he dropped the song We Spinnin' featuring One Mir, with the song being an anthem where the 15-year-old Lil Bucks would rap about being a boss who is feared and not to be played with, while Mir uses his verse to rap about the guns that he constantly uses on his ops. Coincidentally though, the music video of this song was released only 1 day before a pivotal death in the YBC camp, a murder that would unfortunately escalate the war in the streets of Philly to new heights and start a chain reaction that would ultimately lead to countless deaths of young men all across Philadelphia.
You haven't seen the sun in days. So at this point, it'd be easier to just fly to it. Go on, book it. It's easy. Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
Checkers and Rally's $5 meal deal is a mind blower.
All that for $5.
Yep. Choose the new Loaded Tender Wrap, Classic Burger, or Spicy Chicken. Your choice with fries, drink, and chicken bites. Just $5. This eats different.
That bitch. How's it not Asian?
Throughout 2017, 18, and 19, YBC members were making a name for themselves as rappers as well as gangsters, with the likes of J100 dropping songs like Pushin' the Gas with Satcho, or the song Portland with YBC Hemo and Lil Dre, and one time with Lil Dre where they dissed Ode to the Four. But it would be the middle of 2019 when YBC would suffer their first major loss, which massively escalated the gang war in their neighborhood. On the 29th of May 2019, an 18-year-old Joshua David Munson, better known by his friends as YBC Josh or Baby YBC, would be outside in YBC's hood on the 4200 block of Wyoling Avenue. At around 1:40 PM, an unknown man would park his car near the Wyoling Avenue and quickly approach Josh on foot, opening fire, hitting him multiple times, before running back to his car and fleeing westbound. As the police would arrive at the scene, they would find Josh in critical condition and take him to the nearby Presbyterian Hospital, but unfortunately, 2 days later, on the 31st of May, Josh would pass away from his injuries. At the time, Josh's murder would seemingly receive very little coverage from the local media, but in 2021, his case would be picked up by the local 6 ABC television station for their series covering cold cases.
It's been 2 years since a teenager was gunned down on a sidewalk in Philadelphia's Parkside section. Now law enforcement hopes a big reward will urge someone to come forward to solve this case.
On Wednesday, May 29th, 2019, Joshua David Munson was along the 4200 block of Wyalusing Avenue in Philadelphia's Parkside section. At 1:40 p.m., police were called to the area for a person with a gun.
Upon arrival, police observed the victim, who was later ID'd as Joshua Munson. He was suffering from multiple gunshot wounds and was taken to Presbyterian Hospital, where he was listed in critical condition.
Unfortunately, the 18-year-old died from his injuries on May 31st. Police have released some details on the suspect and the suspect's vehicle. At the time of the shooting, police say a black male between 24 and 25 years old, wearing blue shorts and a white tank top, parked a gold Dodge Ram pickup on the corner of 42nd Street and Mantua Avenue, just around the corner from Munson. Police say the man exited the truck and jogged to Wyalusing Avenue. They say the man then ran back to the truck immediately following the shooting and drove westbound on Mantua Avenue.
The city of Philadelphia is offering a $20,000 reward for any information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the person.
All you have to do is call the Citizens Crime Commission tip line at 215-546-TIPS. All calls will remain anonymous.
The motive was unknown. There was nothing taken that we were aware of, and it's just another senseless killing of a teenager.
In his 2024 vlog with the YouTuber Brandon Buckingham, YBC Daw would reflect on losing Josh while stood outside of his house.
I got a video with Josh right now. He's saying, when you come to my crib, throw some rocks in my back window. Like, that's our first loss. That's our first YBC loss. Oh, he pissing right here, but look, right here, it's his crib. It's Josh's crib right here.
He passed?
Yeah, he passed away. I got him tatted on my face. Right here. For Josh, too. Like, all my homies booked, bro. Don't you know I just was telling you about Josh, right? I was right here tagging up. Josh was supposed to come meet me. I was taking a weed. I was supposed to go meet him at the corner of the block. All I heard is gunshots. Boom, 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 boom.
I'm hearing gunshots right now.
Bro, that's good, but all I'm hearing is gunshots. Boom, boom, boom. Bro, my man, band up, y'all coming around the corner. He said, bro, Josh, bro. I just broke down crying. I'm like, damn, bro.
Sorry to hear that. Rest in peace.
Our ops block right here, bro.
It was the death of Josh that took things to a whole new level in the streets for YBC members. In fact, people on Reddit would later describe Josh as being like the O.D. Perry of YBC, O.D. Perry being the young man who the infamous O Block in Chicago, real name Parkway Gardens, is named after, with his death taking place all the way back in 2011. This comparison likely meaning that just like the death of O.D. had been pivotal to many of the youngsters from Parkway due to O.D. being such a loved member, and that this being one of the first major losses to really hit home for many of them. Similarly, for the youngsters in YBC, the loss of Josh likely meant the beginning of a new, much darker era defined by the need for revenge. And just like how the death of O.D. Perry would escalate the existing gang war and start a new string of back and forth killings on the south side of Chicago, the death of Josh would lead to a seemingly endless cycle of violence in West Philly and beyond. In the months that followed, YBC members would stay heavily active in music. J100 continued dropping songs like Turn Up Part 2, Steppers, and 130, and Reek 1200 dropped the Pain song His Story, followed by the melodic track Mobbin'. The young YBC members still had a lot of potential in music, but the pull of the streets would be strong too, and members would be looking to avenge YBC Josh. 10 months after the death of Josh, on the 2nd of March 2020, a 19-year-old Nifik Hawkins, known in the streets as Bud or Buddy, was playing basketball at the playground on 39th and Olive, located in the Mantua neighborhood, not far from where Josh had lost his life. However, Buddy was seemingly not from the area, but rather from the neighborhood who set claims to 62nd and Callow Hill. But anyway, while on the busy court playing a pickup game with other people, someone would suddenly approach Buddy, shooting him numerous times in the torso and legs. Buddy too would be transported to the nearby Presbyterian Hospital, where he would unfortunately pass away. And while the basketball court had seemingly been full of people, nobody would provide any description of the shooter or shooters.
A man was shot and killed on a basketball court in Mantua this evening. The shooting happened on the 3900 block of Olive Street around 5 o'clock. Police say the victim was shot multiple times. At this point, police have not discovered a motive, and no one has been arrested. Learning new information about a deadly shooting on a basketball court in Philadelphia's Mantua section. It happened just after 5 yesterday afternoon on the 3900 block of Olive Street. The 19-year-old victim was pronounced dead a short time later. Investigators now say the victim was shot several times and was indeed the intended target. Witnesses say a game was going on at the time, but it's unclear if the victim was playing or watching. There were 30 people clustered around the victim when officers arrived at the court. Still, so far, there's no